Hi everybody, my name is Corie and I want to welcome you back to my channel. If you are new here, don't worry, I haven't posted anything in months, so this is as good of a place to start as any. For those of you who know me and have been around, hello, it's been a minute. I'm in a really weird ray of light right now, but I am really loving it. Where I live in Victoria, BC, we are having like a really intense cold snap. We are relatively mild all year long, and right now we're in like the -11 range, which is the coldest I've ever seen. So I'm just liking this sunbeam that's coming in. I haven't posted in a long time, and that's for a number of reasons, and yeah, I don't feel like I need to go into it because it's nothing new, it's nothing original, it's just like I needed a break. I needed a break in more ways than one, and I'm constantly rubbing up against what I want my relationship with social media to be and what my purpose is here. And I guess I'm coming here acknowledging that I don't have to have all that figured out, and that I felt called to make a video today, and so I'm making a video today. I had a really hard end to 2023. I lost my dad. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, my dad died. And it's been a really challenging experience. And in a lot of ways it's been a really enlightening and beautiful experience. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about this journey of grief and loss. And for me, like, it's one of my first close encounters to a loss. I mean, losing a parent is, yeah, that's a big one. that takes kind of the top of the list of, like, for me, hard ones. So yeah, I guess this is a trigger warning or a content warning about the loss of a loved one, and this may not be something you need to hear, so just do what you need to take care of yourself. I will say that I'm not going into any graphic content, just more wanting to reflect on this last month and share just some of the complexity of these feelings. So my dad was battling COPD, chronic pulmonary, nothing like a FedEx delivery to center yourself. So my dad had COPD, which is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, and it's hard to know, exactly what all the factors of that were, but a very large one was the fact that he was a smoker. He also experienced heart disease, and the reality is that my dad lived a pretty harsh life throughout his years, throughout his childhood. Some of the jobs he had, he was sick as a child. So the other really big variable is that my dad lived on a remote island, which was such a blessing and such a beautiful community for him to live in, and for me and my brother to experience growing up and into our adult years. But as his health declined, his mobility was impacted, and then his access to regular medical care was really impacted in a negative way. So he also was a stubborn, proud man, and I don't fault him for that. I think, you know, he tried to hang on to his independence for as long as he possibly could. This is a death, this is a loss that unfortunately I have worried about and spent a lot of time thinking about for the last 10 years. And that's been hard to reckon with, in that I had many moments throughout the years where I had to check myself and remind myself that like my dad was still alive and that he still had life, and I didn't need to spend all my time worrying about his death. I should spend my time focused on the life that he was living. And so I think I did a pretty good job of surrendering in the last few years to his path, his journey, honoring his way of living. And it wasn't without, you know, encouraging him to take care of himself along the way. But I think I was so afraid of losing him that I had a really strong grip on like the prospect of him like getting better. And then when I realized like that wasn't in my hands, I then quickly surrendered to like, oh, well, I guess he's just gonna die. And it's not as black and white as that. I think where my mind goes right now is like, my dad was 75 and lived a lot of life. I don't think he knew that he was gonna die, but I also think that he came to a sense of like peace and acceptance of like of the life he chose. And I know that he wanted to live out his days on that island and with his community. And I can look back on our relationship and the love we shared and know that I did right by my dad and that I honored the journey he took. That's just sort of the journey up to his end of life. My dad was just like one of my biggest role models, and like the way he lived his life, I can relate to in a lot of ways, and I identify with him in a lot of ways. And I've always just treasured him, just absolutely treasured him, and been so proud to be his daughter and to, yeah, just try to embody like different characteristics and traits of his. And I know that like he will live on through me and with me. He will continue to live with me. There's comfort there. And I guess like his loss has given my life new meaning, in that I now kind of think of him as like I want to make him proud. I want to live right by him. I want to live out maybe his legacy. And of course I don't know what any of that means right now. Like, that will come, that will show up in different ways. As much as you lose this physical aspect of someone, like, and I don't think you can understand this until you go through it, but like, I have not lost my dad. So I find, yeah, like I've been rubbing up against some of the language that people use around death, and I've been really resistant to like the loss of my dad, or like that my dad passed away. And I've only really been able to identify with like the word death, and like my dad died. And I guess for me it's like his physical body has died, but like he is very much everywhere. And at this stage of my grief, I really have just wanted to like wrap myself up in all things my dad. You know, I took a couple of like articles of his clothes, and I have his photography up in my house, and just the things that he's given me or made me over the years. I'm like, I just want them on display. I want them close by. And I don't know if, you know, like if I'll want to have my space like that forever, but right now it's like I just want to be reminded of all his beauty and all his gifts and his energy. My dad was an artist, a photographer. He loved to create. He loved to share his gifts with the world, with his community. He loved to cook. Like, he made such like comfort foods, and all of it was just so nurturing. And I guess I'm still trying to access that sense of being nurtured and being cared for by my dad. I had about a month off work, and in that time we had a celebration of his life, and my brother and I and our partners, we spent a lot of time at his house and packing things up, and I was able to bring some of, you know, the more valuable things of his to my house, just to keep safe and close. It was also Christmas, which was a whole new experience to have those two events so closely together. But honestly, it was a blessing to have all my family close by and to just be held by them, and to get to hear different people's stories of my dad. And yeah, Brian, my husband, was here for the whole thing, and just to have his support, like I haven't even found the words of appreciation for him just being this rock. It's not easy to be around people who are grieving, and for me, as the person who was grieving, it wasn't easy to always like be the one being cared for, and yet I didn't really have the capacity for anything more than that. Brian and I also had our 1-year wedding anniversary, like right in the thick of it. So so not the week we just had, but as of the week before, I went back to work, and for a while I was like, oh God, like I don't know how I'll manage this, and I'm not ready. And then as soon as I did go back to work, it was actually a bit of a welcomed shift of energy and shift of focus, because, you know, you can only be in the depths of that emotion for so long before you become incredibly exhausted. It was nice to be able to focus on other people. And I mean, my job is as a mental health outreach worker, so you know, shifting gears to other people was kind of nice. And now it's 2024, and it's interesting to now look at the new year, and I'm certainly not gonna jump into any type of New Year's resolution, but I think for me, finding space in my life to grieve and to continue to understand this grief and to allow it to roll through me, and to also just really honor my life and the new shape it's taking. It'll be, you know, a year without my dad in his physical form. So I don't know what that'll look like. I do know that Brian and I are going to Mexico at the end of January for 10 days, and I am so looking forward to that, and I think that will be very healing and just give us both time to really unwind and have fun, just plain old fun. And we're just gonna take it from there. So I don't really know if I accomplished what I set out to, but if anything, it's just a life update and an invitation to explore your own experiences of grief and loss, to reach out. I have found that like the support of people who have also experienced a loss is just like so profound, and I don't know that we've all managed to find these places where we can talk about it. It's a little bit of a taboo topic. Like, I think people have a threshold to how much they can engage, and that makes total sense. So I do think it's important to find those people and find those places to unpack. I haven't found a counselor, but that has been something on my mind, is that it would probably be beneficial for me to have some professional support in this time and moving forward. I've started journaling a lot more, and a big therapeutic piece for me has been I've been getting back into photography. It's something that my dad taught me, shooting film, 35mm film. And a friend of mine actually just dropped off this morning all the supplies to develop my own black and white film, which would be a really cool thing to do. My dad had a dark room. He was all about that. So it'd be a neat and I think really positive and powerful way of connecting with my dad on that more creative and spiritual level. So that's where I'm at. And I feel good to just sort of verbally let things out. And who knows, maybe I'll make another video sometime. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your loyalty, for your support. I hope 2024 is off to a gentle start, and that you are taking care of yourself, and just sending you so much love. Bye, everybody.